Our regulations only apply to recreational boats. When a manufacturer builds a commercial boat and it is delivered to a dealer and sold to a boater that is going to use it for recreational purposes, he is in violation of the law. A lot of consumers feel that when they buy something that's marked commercial, they're getting something better, they're getting something made tough. I mean, an example is I've got a riding lawnmower, and it's got a commercial engine in it. And I felt like I was getting a better engine that would last me longer than, say, one that was just for a regular person to use in their yard.
However, a commercial boat is nothing more than a boat hull with seats in it. It's no better built structurally than a recreational boat.
I started taking, my oldest son is now 30 years old. I started taking him at 6. You know, we got caught in some weather one time, and when we got to the bank, the boat sank. You know, a lot of people, you know, they're just not aware of the dangers that can happen to them in a boat, in the water. You know, you fall out of a boat, you drown.
Day in, day out, you know, we never expected accidents are going to happen. A boat that meets the Coast Guard minimum federal safety standards can swamp, and they do routinely. They can fill with water, but if it meets our standards, it will not sink. If it's powered by an outboard, it will float level.
I've been a factory inspector since 2003. I've probably done a little over 2,000 factory visits in that time. We do not inspect boats for commercial use. Our regulations only apply to recreational boats. All recreational boats that are manufactured have to be in compliance with 33 CFR 181, 183.
And that's the manufacturer's requirements, and that's where we outline certification of boats, which is very important because even though a boat may not have to meet some of the other regulations, the certification gives us, the Coast Guard, the knowledge that the boat was manufactured in accordance with the minimum safety standards where they apply.
The biggest thing is that it's going to meet level flotation. And what level flotation gives you is it gives you a safe platform. You know that the boat that meets level flotation is not going to go down.
A boat that's manufactured to a lesser standard or no standard, as these commercial boats are, they will sink.
Here's an example of 2 boats. One's commercial, one's recreational. Commercial boat takes on water, sinks straight to the bottom. The recreational boat has foam, takes on water, never sinks.
You know, I've been in the Coast Guard for a long time. For my first 15 years, I flew search and rescue, and I know what the ugly end of a sinking looks like. I've dropped pumps to boats that were sinking. I've picked people out of the water that were on a boat that had sunk. I've seen the disastrous aftermath of somebody that didn't survive that. The issue that we find with boats that aren't being manufactured to the recreational standards is that they're finding their way into recreational activities.
The last thing I want to get is a phone call that one of my boats sank with kids in it.
I work for an independent safety lab, and I travel all across the United States covertly gathering information on boats that do and do not meet safety regulations.
Most builders of commercial boats do not let their buyers know what the maximum weight capacity of the boat is, how many passengers they can carry, or what the maximum horsepower is on a boat.
The last 10 years, I've visited over 400 marine dealerships in 15 states, and I'm surprised at the opportunities a recreational boater is given to purchase an unsafe boat. So you're saying if I get a commercial hull, that's what y'all make, it's strong?
Right, and it does, yeah.
Okay, so my family would be good to go?
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. Then when I asked about flotation, the salesperson didn't know. So when they went and asked the owner, his direct comment was, oh, well, it quiets it down, keeps the noise down.
When a manufacturer builds a commercial boat and it is delivered to a dealer and sold to a boater that is going to use it for recreational purposes, he is in violation of the law.
I'll get some customers and dealers will call, will you build this boat without flotation? And I'll tell them absolutely not. I will not do it. I said, you know, they'll go buy one from someone else and not go buy one from me.
The civil penalties for somebody that engages in this type of unlawful act is $5,000 per occurrence with a maximum of $250,000.
I had a manufacturer one time explain liability to me this way. If one of your boats is ever involved in an accident, they're going to sue from the can of resin up. It's a very important aspect of dealers and manufacturers understanding their responsibilities. I think a lot of the responsibility falls on the manufacturer educating his dealers.
What I'll tell them on our boats, they'll look at our boats and say, oh, them boats are expensive. I said, yeah, they are, but the boat has flotation and it meets all safety standards.
An overwhelming number of manufacturers build to our standards. It's just, there are too many people. If I took that boat home, had it for a week, said, geez, I don't like this thing, peeled off the label on the inside and sold it to my neighbor just bought a boat that will sink. You know, there's a string of liability that, not of maybe of monetary or legal issues, but of the conscience.
Most recreational boaters do not know about the U.S. Coast Guard regulations and how they affect the safety built into a recreational boat.
Key to identifying any recreational boat is the certification label.
The first thing, I said, what's your water, what kind of water you're running in, what size boat you can put our engine on if you're buying one of our boats.
It goes back to educating the people.
There's a number of different avenues for the consumer here that, you know, the Coast Guard's trying to hold their back up for them.
30-degree water in Alaska is the same as 30-degree water in Louisiana. The odds are against you. Sooner or later, something's going to happen.